transpiration. This is one of the most important times the agrometeorologists are
sitting and not leaving the room when I came in. That's good. Many of the things that you see here. Anything you see good about it, attribute
one more year for transpiration of basics. One in the previous class, we just tried to understand 1 year operation, 1 transpiration, but the definition of
Hello, welcome to Weatherwise. I'm meteorologist Brittany Beggs. Evaporation and evapotranspiration are both
the Earth's climate has fluctuated, cycling from ice ages to warmer periods. But in the last century,
welcome to Weatherwise. I'm meteorologist Brittany
NASA has
Beggs.
been observing
Evaporation and
the Earth system
evapotranspiration are
for
both ways in which
decades
water is released
using that
into the
unique
air.
vantage
We've heard the term
space
evaporation before.
to understand how our oceans and land and atmosphere and
Scientists agree that the
how
world is
our
heating up.
oceans
Global warming
and
describes the
land
greenhouse
and
effect.
atmosphere.
Certain gases allow short-wave radiation from the sun.
In collaboration with Andre Gritsun.
Scientists agree that the world is heating up. Scientists agree that the world is heating up.
All these names are data. Roll number is a data. Their class is a data. Okay.
La photosynthèse.
This is talking about the spatial data. You are talking about the roll number. This is a numerical data.
Qui provient de la sève brute, celle qui a été pompée par les racines. L'eau monte dans la plante jusqu'à la feuille.
Welcome again. We will start with the next chapter for Gochi Leong that talks about the tropical monsoon and the tropical marine climate. Now, as we studied in the previous class, we would have the various regions that are discussed.
Some work done in collaboration.
And we have classified the regions into various heads. In the last class, we talked about the equatorial climatic region. So that's already done. Today we would be doing the, not the hot desert, we would be doing the monsoon type of climate, that's this one. And we would move on to the Sudan type of climate in the next class. So what we are trying to focus would be the monsoonal climate.
Seeing that in different areas how GIS being implemented. So let's start. So here we will be covering the introduction, basic introduction of GIS, then capabilities and modules of GIS,
First of all,
GIS applications,
the impacts of aerosol talks on the forecasting of the Hurricane Harvey as it made landfall using the UFS model. This is a UAlbany EMC collaborative effort with my Q for having me. And yes, so today my talk is going to be looking at specifically the forecasting of the impacts of aerosol talks on the forecasting of Hurricane Harvey as it made landfall using
first of all, the
UFS
characteristics.
model.
The major characteristics
This is all right. Thank you for having me. And yes, so today my talk is going to be
are prone to seasonal reversal.
Okay, well, thank you. And thank you to the committee for inviting us to be here, talking to this audience.
This lectureship is not going to be sponsored by Ocean Sciences and paleoclimatology, paleoceanography. I've reversed those halfway.
I'm standing with Jim from the Regional Water Providers Consortium, and Jim, one of the things we like to do on Garden Time is really talk about the entire garden. And a big portion of gardening is the way we use water. And you guys do a great job.
How the World Works is at it again. Originally, my second video in the climate change series was going to be about CO2, solar irradiance, and cloud coverage, but Lee came out with a couple videos in the beginning of December, which I...
Now on the debate for the full edition in Paris, France, Richard Lindzen, professor of meteorology at MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and in Vancouver, British Columbia, Hadi Delatabadi,
enter NATO.
and professor of global change at the University of Columbia, Hadi Delatabadi, Canada Research Chair and professor of global change at the University of British Columbia. We're grateful to both of you for being on our program this evening. Normally we have 4 or 5 readers.
They were currently living in revolutionary times. Specifically, we're now experiencing the fourth industrial
that exciting technological innovation here.
It was local and didn't have much effect.
century and went on until the beginning of the 20th century was
So
related
what is this all about?
It depends on
We want to start reasoning about sequence of random variables. So rather than having a
An
fixed
exciting
base
technological
net
innovation
with a
here
fixed
in
set of
that,
random variables,
due
we
to
want there to be a sequence of them that keeps going on in principle forever.
One of our speakers
Applications are speech recognition. We have a stream
Europe
of
and
speech
is going
signals
to
coming
be
in.
up on
This
the
is all
big
about.
screen
We want to start
for
reasoning
us later
about
on.
sequences of
But
random
we're going to
variables.
start with
So
Juan
rather than having
Sola,
a fixed
who's
base
a
net
law
with a
professor
fixed set
in
of random variables,
Argentina.
we
He's
want there
director
to
of
be
the
a
Center for Law and Economics at the University of Buenos Aires. I'm sure a lot of you know him anyway. Certainly if you've been to one of these conferences before, you do. He's going to tell us about the religious origins, not of individualism, but of its antithesis, corporatism.
Yeah, a little late.
The hydrologic cycle is depicted.
I have to thank you for a very kind invitation. I'm extremely proud to speak to you after hearing so elegant speakers in the morning and especially at lunch.
There we go. I'm searching some
This
areas
is a
that
study on
I
faith.
haven't found meteorites on this lake.
I'm going to start with a sad moment. Speaking about why
The next stage of the investigation.
religious belief were an attack on capitalism and individuality.
The amount of cement required.
Are we of defunct economists, but also of defunct theologians, as Keynes is always remembered to say. I agree.
ಲೇಔಟ್ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಅಕ್ರಮ ಅನ್ನೋ ಮಾಹಿತಿಗಳು ಲಭ್ಯವಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಲೋಕಾಯುಕ್ತ ಸುಭಾಷ್ ಬಿ ಆಡಿ.
Yep, I got it.
Ain't got
no
cigarette, no phone, no food, no pets.
All right, hello everyone. I think we'll get.
I got it.
Welcome to Astrophysics. Of course, at SAMC this semester. My name is James Long. I'm going to be
The central theme of this series is that fossils tell you so much more than simply that something died. Today, we're going to look at a field of study based entirely on what fossils and rocks tell us about the ancient climate. So, let's jump right in.
Who manages or owns the land. The green is the Fish and Wildlife Service with the Desert Refuge and the Brannigan National Wildlife Refuge.
I was fishing in Denver one time and some guys came and they said, "Hope we know you teach girls to go on fish
todo mundo aqui!
I'd like to prove to
Vem
you.
cantar com a gente assim, ó! Mas não vem.
Hello guys, welcome back. Today we'll start with meteorology, problems on wind triangle.
In this video, we're going to talk
Please
about
subscribe at the end.
evil spirits or
An example.
This is a continuation of the
There are few important terms used on wind. Problems on wind triangle. If you like this video,
it seems they
please
turn to
subscribe.
black holes and, above all, quantum physics.
Specific emphasis on radiocarbon dating.
Hello.
Global warming.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Global warming refers to climate change, which causes increasing the temperature on the surface of the earth.
But is global warming caused by human activities? Warming caused by human activities?
Trying to predict the future
Absolutely.
climate. Each
Earth's
model
climate
is
is
slightly
mostly
different,
influenced by
just as Tim's golf swing is never exactly the same. And because the models are Each time Tim hits the ball, it's like a different computer model trying to predict.
A few years ago,
this lecture, I'm going to explain.
I don't believe that human CO2 is
Each time
causing
Tim
that
hits the
warming.
ball, it's like a different computer model trying to predict the future climate. Each model is slightly different, just as Tim's golf swing is never exactly the same. And because the
Global
models are
warming.
trying to see
The
so
great
far
debate
into
heated
the
up
future,
recently
these
when an
small
email
differences
exchange
have
among
big effects. That's why the various climate models don't provide a consistent answer to how warm it's going to be in the future.
Gentlemen,
The idea now that small changes here, they're going to have a big effect on its way out there.
They're going to have a big effect.
I'm Dickie. Small changes here, they're going to have a big effect on its way out there.
They're going to have a big effect.
And that's even with you as a skilled golfer. Well, the climate models at the moment, the computer climate, each model is slightly different, just as Tim's golf swing is never exactly the same. And because the models are trying to see so far into the future, these small differences have big effects. That's why the various climate models
year
don't...
1000, also called the medieval warm period. We believe that in Greenland, the medieval warm period...
Each time Tim hits the ball, it's like a different computer
year
model.
1000, also called the medieval warm period. We believe that in Greenland, the medieval warm
Climate scientists are gaining an understanding of the past and are projecting what the future climate
Ice core project is being reopened to drill the
3 different ways that thermal heat can be transferred from.
Climate scientists.
You're listening to the Pound. The
Research Station. The ice core, over 3 kilometers in length, has been hauled up to the surface piece by piece and contains important data on the history of the climate of the Earth. It bears the fingerprints of climatic conditions over more than 120,000 years.
When we remove or drill the ice core, we leave a hole. And we insert a thermometer in the hole. We are able to map out the temperature through the 3 kilometers.
Extreme weather cut a swath across the world.
If we do it precisely a thousandth of a degree accuracy, then
a year ago on New Year's Day.
the Viking Age, around year 1000, also
we weren't in the
freshwater resources.
Welcome friends, in this video, let's discuss about Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Steps to build resilience.
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Climate change is a challenge of managing risks. Risks for people and infrastructure. Climate change is a challenge of managing risks. Risks for people and infrastructure. Risks for ecosystems.
Remarks are going to be made by Jake Wertzman, who is the director of the Institutions and Governance Program at World Resources Institute. He's a lawyer. He specializes in implementing climate change cooperation with our institute.
The actual project, we're going to talk about some soils that help to promote growth of the tree. Before we get started with the actual project, we're going to talk about some... Oh, hey, how's it going? It's Mike from the How To
Zunächst erschien es nur wie ein Einzelfall. Eine absurde Prognose, die Gletscher des Himalaya könnten bis 2035 abgeschmolzen sein. Dazu noch grotesk falsche Größenangabe. Nur eine Schlampigkeit. Kapitel Auswirkungen des Klimawandels auf die Amazonasregion. Bis zu 40% des Regenwaldes, so der Bericht, könnten dramatisch auf weniger Niederschlag reagieren. Quelle der Behauptung, Himalaya könnten bis 2035 abgeschmolzen sein.
Here, participants of the IPCC working group 3
have been heading the writing team, and I'd like to thank also the UK government for the whole
This is a list of scientists who
I didn't really get this one because I feel like we walk on the side, so I just wrote.
That conflict
when
with
we
the scientific
look back
consensus
on these issues, we find that problems like the
scientists who have made statements that conflict with the scientific consensus on global warming as summarized by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and
Welcome to Vision on TV. We're at the final day with Steve. We met on your first day at Climate Camp.
Find so many what I call posh people, and it just seemed that they were playing games. It's part of a sort of summer from university that they're just taking part in something so they can tell.
Hi, welcome to the launch of
travel systems. Here is the takeaway. Unless the world changes course quickly and dramatically, the fundamental systems that support human civilization are
welcome to the launch.
hundreds of millions of what we'll call environmental refugees.
As coastal communities systems, like this one energy supplies, and all of us, our climate is changing, and it is touching individuals.
New York could be abandoned. Its famous landmarks
The flash flood guidance system has been developed as a state-of-the-art forecasting by providing
hydrology and geophysics. The WMO originated from the
measuring instruments and numerical weather prediction models.
The WMO originated from the International
Wie angekündigt werde ich heute ein wenig über internationale Organisationen aus Sicht des Völkerrechts sprechen.
Promoting international cooperation on atmospheric science, climatology, hydrology. Organization is a specialized agency of the United Nations responsible. The World Meteorological Organization
internationalen Organisationen.
Potremo lasciarvi e lasciarmi senza la News.
Wie angekündigt werde ich heute ein wenig über internationale Organisationen aus Sicht des Völkerrechts sprechen.
In the products we buy, these gases help retain heat.
Im Chat stellen, ansonsten würde ich da einfach ein bisschen was an diesem solcher Sicht natürlich hochinteressant. Warum ist das hochinteressant? Weil wir natürlich in Wien ganz besonders viele internationale
I'm the editor at Art Magazine, and this session has been organised by Nichia in association. It's been organised by Nichia in association with ourselves at Art TV. I was very happy to be invited to moderate today's webinar. This session has been organised by Nichia in association with ourselves at Art TV. I was very happy to be invited to moderate today's webinar, and we'll have a Q&A later on in the session, but first we'll begin a series of 3 short presentations from our esteemed panel of speakers.
Both the axis and the Earth are tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees during a revolution.
Anomaly will be related to the index of a rock operator in 2 more dimensions, and that's something I will...
The tilting of the axis results in direct sunlight falling on different places during different seasons. This causes variations in the duration of days. The axis of the Earth is an imaginary line on which the Earth rotates. It links up the 2 poles. Both the axis and the Earth are tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees during a revolution.
I put together, I guess it's the trust piece together things that either we know that are going.
Reports from the World Meteorological Organization shows that 2020 had record greenhouse gas concentration, increased global temperature to 1.2 degrees Celsius, acidification and acceleration of ocean heat, and sea level rise propelled by melting glaciers. And sea level rise propelled by melting glaciers. Reports from the World Meteorological Organization shows that 2020 had record greenhouse gas concentration, increased global temperature to 1.2 degrees Celsius, acidification and acceleration of ocean heat, and sea level rise propelled by melting glaciers.
That is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, जिसे हम IPCC के नाम से जानते हैं. And recent 2-3 years में ये काफी ज़्यादा. Hello, good morning friends. तो आज हम एक और बहुत important organization करेंगे. That is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, जिसे हम IPCC के नाम से जानते हैं. हेलो गुड मॉर्निंग फ्रेंड्स. तो आज हम एक और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन करेंगे. दैट इज इंटरगवर्नमेंटल पैनल ऑन क्लाइमेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन करेंगे. दैट इज इंटरगवर्नमेंटल पैनल ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज, जिसे हम IPCC के नाम से जानते हैं.
There are basically ways in which the temperature of an air parcel can be changed. So-called diabatic processes involve direct energy exchanges. An example is the heating or cooling of the air as it moves across a hot or cold surface.
Atmospheric concentration.
So-called adiabatic processes.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you
can be changed.
I don't have a particularly loud voice, so if I start mumbling partway through the presentation, just sort of yell at me and I'll try and speak up.
An example is the heating
so,
or cooling
as Melissa
of the
said,
air
I work
as it
here at
moves across
UNSW,
a hot or cold surface.
and my field of research is ocean variability, more on the natural variability side rather than the climate change side, but of course you can't really
ways in which the temperature of an air parcel can be changed. So-called diabatic processes involve direct energy exchanges.
Well, the answer is
an example is the heating or cooling
a large part of this unit is
documentary
trying to calculate returns
of the air as
forward.
We will begin.
So this is the 5th video in my series on risk foundations. Previously, I answered the question, what is value at risk, and assumed a normal distribution, and that is an approach to evaluate risk that we call parametric bar.
The next 4 Mondays, we're going to explore the romanticism of colonialism in popular culture.
And I think
you know what I'm talking about, right? Vietnamese restaurants designed to
there are
look
3
like
approaches to
French
evaluate risk.
Hanoi.
There are 3 approaches to evaluate risk: analytical, Monte Carlo, and the most popular, historical simulation. What is the historical simulation approach to evaluate risk? So this is the 5th video in my
Staatschef der DDR.
Vorwärts immer, rückwärts nimmer.
18 Jahre lang steht er an der Spitze. Unscheinbar.
The Governmental Panel on Climate Change has announced the food industry contributes around a third of human greenhouse gas emissions. In a new report on the role...
Hi class, I wanted to talk a little bit about
allow you to view patterns, trends, and changes in data.
The first is that if we have a surface low pressure, we can interpret that the weather is probably going to be cloudy and there's going to be precipitation. And remember that cyclonic flow, which in the northern hemisphere...
Weather and climate extremes.
Going to record a short video for you
being washed up on our
to cover
shores
one of
all
the
the
most
time.
difficult to
And
understand
how
topics in Chapter 7,
Ocean
and that
currents
is
are
the
movement from
differences
surface.
between
We're often
eastern
asked
and western
by the
boundary
media,
currents.
is
this particular event? Is this global warming? Or is it natural variability?
But how do they get there?
Black and white. No shades of grey in those kinds of questions. And so my comment is that these are not the right questions, because it's always
the strongest El Nino in almost 20 years mean relief for drought-stricken California. Should New England brace for another snowy winter? No, is winter outlook?
All right, guys, this week we are going to be talking about altitude,
because it's always
density, greenhouse effect, and climate change. So lots to get through. I'll make this as quick and painless
We've all heard the term greenhouse effect,
okay,
but how many of us can really explain what
altitude.
It means?
Altitude
Do we
is
know
the height of
why
anything
carbon dioxide has such a critical influence on the
universities, and you have a few, if not many, specialties.
So that includes incoming short-wave radiation and outgoing. This part of the IB geography syllabus is the
We've all heard the term greenhouse effect, but how many of us can really explain what
this video I'm going to describe the physical geography of created tectonics. Here we have a physical relief map of North Africa and the Middle East, and so inside the yellow line is our region.
They form over millions, and their structures penetrate deep. So their size.
Some say it's part of the Middle East, some say it's North Africa. So that's what the lines mean. What we got going on in North Africa and the Middle East, which makes it kind of unique, is the fact we have all three of those North Africa and the Middle East. And so inside the yellow line is our region. What I have is the dashed yellow lines. To the left or to the west of that line is North Africa, and to the east or to the right of that dashed line is the Middle East. This video I'm going to describe the physical geography of North Africa and the Middle East by focusing on
the rock spreads in two directions and goes sideways, impeded by the Earth's core. Near the surface, the rock...
Good morning, everybody. Distinguished delegates, it's a great pleasure to open the session. I'm going to let this tank of water. Let me briefly introduce who is sitting with me on this podium.
One side here.
To my right is the Minister for the Environment. Is the Minister for the Environment of Sweden, Her Excellency Miss Lena Ek. Welcome. To my left, the co-chair of Working Group 1, Ching Da-he.
A couple of small water bottles. One, the red one,
we have
is
here
fresh
for
water,
the first
and the
hour
blue
of the
one
12th.
is
Good
salt
morning,
water.
everybody.
I am going to open it.
Distinguished
All
delegates,
right.
it's
Today we're
a
celebrating
great pleasure.
the 50th
Hello,
anniversary of
our
World Weather
Nature
Watch.
Associate Editor at Nature Geoscience,
have
and I'll
here
also be your moderator for the next hour,
Start
as we're going to
way
discuss
back.
Working Group 1 of the
Buddy's
Intergovernmental
gonna
Panel
help me.
on Climate Change. Let me briefly introduce who is sitting with me on this podium. To my right is the Minister for the Environment of Sweden. To my left, the co-chair of Working Group 1, Ching Da-he, who is sitting with me on this podium.
We'll begin by
to my right is the Minister for the Environment
Hello, my name
of
is Brent Bullard.
Sweden, Her Excellency
In this
Miss
presentation,
Lena
I will
Ek.
be giving
Welcome.
to
my left, the co-chair of Working Group 1, Ching Da-he. Sandra Pachauri, Chair of IPCC, and that we have here for the first hour of the 12th session of Working Group 1 of the Intergovernmental Panel.
My faith is shaken, but I gotta keep trying.
What is normal? It seems like an odd question, but when people say they fear climate
climate change. It implies that somehow we have substituted some abnormal condition for what was once considered normal. But what is normal when we talk of climate? Was it the 1940s?
Well, hi guys. I'd like to demonstrate for you a very simple demonstration.
So good afternoon, everybody. It is my pleasure, instead of Gabi's today, to introduce our speaker, Dr. Dominic Brunner. Dominic is the head of the atmospheric modeling and sensing group at the EMPA in Switzerland.
But can their small-scale greenhouses back in M7 really produce a plausible greenhouse effect? Can their small-scale greenhouses back in M7 really produce a plausible greenhouse effect? The guys head off to consult an expert at UC Berkeley. And after a little demonstration showing the power of ice, the heat's on back at Ice Station Central. The greenhouses are ready.
Result in monopoly. Getting back to the roots, and by making a more direct connection, well, we can gain some control over our wretched little lives by getting...
Where we got last time was basically to the end of chapter 3 in the book. So we have...
Let's build our own solar heating system and supplement our power requirements.
Update, and as you can see, I decided to change locations.
Our star, the sun, releases phenomenal amounts of energy. This energy makes its way through the space and falls onto Earth.
My name is Leming Wang. I'm co-hosting a seminar.
Our star, the sun, releases phenomenal amounts of energy.
Today's seminar, we're very
this
pleased
energy
to have Garlene Wissam, alumnus from Portland State. Garlene is currently a project manager at Cawthorpe Associates. For today's talk, we'll talk about urban footprint, the open source scenario planning tool developed by Cawthorpe that links
Dr. Catherine Hagel for sharing this important information.
Plans to a series of
climate normals are 30-year averages that meteorologists and climatologists use as a baseline to describe daily, monthly, and yearly conditions as being warmer or cooler, wetter or drier than average. Every decade, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration
in this series, I've looked at how theatre was first invented in ancient Athens and at how it played a vital part in the lives of the ancient Greeks. I've also seen how it grew at a festival in the Back Beyond, and it is one of the most powerful and disturbing plays ever written. It tells the story of the chaos wrought by the god of theatre and revelry, Dionysus. It tells of women lured. It tells the story of the chaos. It is one of the most powerful and disturbing plays ever written. It tells the story of the chaos wrought by the god of theatre and revelry, Dionysus. It tells of women lured to the mountains where they sing and dance in a frenzy, and it follows the fate. In 405 BC, a new play by the tragedian Euripides won first prize at a festival in Athens.
Hey everybody, Paul here.
This program is
okay, so you're driving around and you're checking. Hey everybody, Paul here. Okay, so if you're driving around and your check engine light here is staying on steadily, I'm going to show you one of the things that it might be, okay? And
the great things about these sort of events is the chance to talk with people over lunch and other breaks. And I see we've been enjoying that. And also, I just wanted to say,
weather station models and hurricane tracking. To begin our review, let's start with
Hi, welcome to EE380 Stanford Computer Systems Colloquium. It's fall 2011-2012, and we're getting into the middle
Climate change is a huge problem, and it can feel hard to
जो इसके अलग से वेबसाइट से हम इसको चला सकते हैं और हम अपने मन चाहे नंबर पॉइंट्स उसके जो भी पॉइंट्स होते हैं उसको हम अपने अनलिमिटेड कैसे रखें कितना भी लगा सकते हैं अपने मर्जी से तो मेरे इस वीडियो में
Good day, everyone. This is Chris with the Ancient Scholars. Today I'm going to continue talking about
in a cave at the foot of Mount Parnassus.
Go over a brief introduction to ancient Greek ethics and philosophies, and we'll also talk about some ancient Greek philosophers. And I might even toss in a little bit of science as well. Now, in modern times, we generally think of
perceive the difference between truth and falsehood.
Go over a brief introduction to ancient Greek ethics and philosophies, and we'll also talk about some of the ancient Greek philophers. And I might even toss in a little bit of science as well. Now, in modern times,
the second episode of the Software Carpentry Lecture on Software Engineering. In this episode, we'll have a look at the science behind some of the claims we make in this course. Our story starts with the 7 Years' War, which was actually 9 years long, proving that it's not just programmers who have trouble counting. During that war, the British lost about 50
When you think about geography, perhaps the first thing that comes to mind is land.
How sunny and hot it was today.
So this is a quick review video,
devised this really interesting project which I speak to him about, in which he asks Australians
climatic zones of Earth. People living in various parts of the country follow different lifestyle. This difference is due to the influence of the climatic conditions at the place they live.
So what is latitude?
The climate of the country
decreasing as we move away from the equator and towards the poles.
In our country, some places have
video, we're going to look at experimental
a very
probability.
cold climate.
So if there's a
while
sphere,
some
then the
have
theoretical probability
a
of the
hot
fact is 1 out
climate.
of 6. In other words, if there's 6 faces,
It is humid in some places and in
The
some
sun
areas
is the main
there
source
is
of heat on Earth.
Today I'm going to tell you about
The amount of heat received from the sun is maximum at the equator, decreasing as we move away from the equator and towards the poles.
We discussed frequency distribution.
This has led to the formation of 3 distinct heat zones on Earth
and packaging it
in
a frequency distribution.
Out of the total. So now
We
if you look back
discussed
into
frequency distributions.
the
We
frequency
discussed
distribution,
taking
class frequency
a set of data
distribution, here I'm using class width
and
again.
packaging it
Now I know
in a frequency distribution.
Now, remember before
so
we
that
talked
it
about
would
these
be
low pressure systems that move across
to interpret.
the United States.
Today we're going to
And as these
discuss
low pressure
relative
systems move across the
frequency
United States,
distributions.
they have a
So a
counterclockwise
relative
motion.
frequency distribution tells you where a value or where a
All
class
weather will
stands
change when
relative
the air
to the
mass
rest
moves
of the
over
data.
an area. So what is an air mass?
Remember,
An air mass is a
air
large body of air
masses
that has a
to
certain temperature and a certain amount of moisture.
Skills,
There are 5 different kinds of air masses.
kind of
And
voice
you can find all 5. There are 5 different kinds of air masses.
to do
And you
some
can
kind of
find
voiceovers
all 5 of these
exam
in your reference
technique,
table on page 13.
how to tackle
Maritime
sources and bit
bit of metacognition, I think, we're into now, where I've talked you through my thought process. So it might be a bit of a lengthy video.
And originate above an ocean.
Welcome. We're going to be looking
You want
at
to think
some
about
of the
maritime as
This is a geographic skill that
is easy to remember, because if you live in a tropical area, your temperatures are warm. So we put both of these things together, and we get 5 different kinds of air masses. And you can find, so what is an air mass? An air mass is a large body of air that has a certain temperature and a certain amount of moisture. There are 5 different kinds of air masses, and you can find all 5 of these.
I always need to start by pointing out this
Maritime tropical is the first air mass
by the relevant scientific community
Maritime tropical air masses
and what is known about global warming by the people who need to know, and that's
you want to think about maritime as marine. Okay, anytime you see this word, I want you to think about
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us, the Master of Science in Threat and Response Management program here tonight. We're really excited to have you all here and to, talk about this really important topic right now. Before we get started, the lecture itself will go for about 4 hours. Maritime polar, again, think maritime as marine, it is going to be.
The reason why I did that is because it shows
there's another way of looking at the atmosphere. If you could unwrap the atmosphere. There's another way of looking at the atmosphere.
System of nomenclature.
If
really
you
what
could
this means is
unwrap
that we
the
have 2 parts to a
atmosphere on the
species name.
surface of the Earth,
That first part is the species
put it all into
really looking at the diversity.
We're gonna do it today. Hip hip hooray.
Video we'll look at IB section
आज का हमारा टॉपिक होगा इंडिया का क्लाइमेटिक पिछली क्लास में उससे रिलेटेड आज हम कोपन का देखेंगे
really looking at the diversity of living things on the planet and also how we classify them. Scientists really like the ability to classify and organize species, and we do this system of nomenclature. Really what this means is that we have 2 parts to a species name. That first part is the species.
Und werde dabei aber nicht zu viel zeigen, denn Science Continent ist vom Grundgedanken her so ein Abenteuer-Entdeckungsspiel. So ein bisschen im Choose Your Own Adventure-Style. Ihr kennt das vielleicht früher, wenn ihr mal als Kinder oder auch jetzt als Erwachsene noch solche Bücher gespielt habt, wo ihr dann irgendwie was gelesen habt, dann habt ihr gesagt bekommen, möchtet ihr jetzt in dem Labyrinth nach rechts klotzen, beim ersten Video
Deserts
zu
and
The Seventh Continent. In diesem Video werde ich euch zeigen, wie man dieses Spiel spielt, sprich, wie baut man das Ganze auf, wie sind so die ersten Schritte, und werde dabei aber nicht zu viel zeigen, denn Seventh Continent ist vom Grundgedanken her so ein Abenteuer-Entdeckungsspiel. So ein bisschen im Choose Your Own Adventure-Style. Ihr kennt das vielleicht früher, wenn ihr mal als Kinder oder auch...
Hello guys, welcome to Miscellaneous.
पहला तापमान और दूसरा के डेटा किस तरीके से चेंजेस हो रहे हैं वर्ल्ड वाइड.
That is
वहीं दूसरे मानचित्र में
climate classification system.
இந்த காலநிலை பாகுபாடு உலக அரங்கில் பல்வேறுபட்ட காரணங்களுக்காக மேற்கொள்ளப்படுகின்றது. அந்த வகையில் என்னென்ன காரணங்கள் சொல்லி நாங்கள் முதலில் பார்ப்போம். விவசாய ரீதியான செயற்பாடுகளை சிறந்த முறையில் முன்னெடுத்துச் செல்வதற்கும், கிராமிய நகர அபிவிருத்தி திட்டங்களை முன்னெடுப்பதற்கும், அரசியல் ரீதியான தந்திரோபாய செயற்திட்டங்களை
For instance, what if I wanted to tell a friend the exact location of the Coronado?
Now we are going to understand about important
It would be hard to describe, but give him the coordinates of the bridge and he should be able to find it quite easily. To find precise locations, parallels of latitude and meridians of longitude.
Alright, well, hello and welcome back to the AUA session for week. Alright, well, hello and welcome back to the AUA session for week 3. The topic for the lectures this week has been ecology. And after we talked about characteristics of the host, hello and welcome back to the AUA session for week 3. The topic for the lectures this week has been ecology.
Must be heaven. They say your attitude determines your latitude. I'm high as a motherfucker.
Welcome to the session on Organization of Knowledge, Library Classification. In this session, we will discuss species of library classification.
To organize them into a clear, understandable system so that you, as the user,
categories,
have easy access to it.
either general or subject
Items
specific.
such as each of these books is given a specific
Storage
function.
and retrieval.
Classification
In this
entry.
session, we will discuss
Library
species of library
classification
classification.
systems use a combination.
The primary use of the scheme of library classification is the intellectual organization.
Faceted classification is a classification scheme.
In our throwaway world, a plastic bag outlives its usefulness after around 50
vengono ogni smolo fleksibilni, da imate dakle napravite šemu, ali ona je u skladu sa
welcome to GST1 for
Generated out at sea. Big chunk of air.
on tropical waters, powers the weather systems of the globe. Moisture evaporates from the warming ocean.
3
units 2 library classification.
The air mass very similar conditions throughout, and it has to
Why do we really need
focus
for the GST1 for?
sat over what we call
I am Dr. Angela Ibela. I will be taking
So,
you through
an air mass is a
3 units
big chunk
2
of air.
library
Got another
classification.
excellent one to share
How
with you,
big?
and this one is absolutely
as big as maybe
delightful. All right, I'm not going to make
3
that
or
pun
4
anymore.
I am
But what we're looking at
Dr.
today is
Angela Ibela.
astrocytosis.
I will be
An air
taking
mass
you
is a
through
big chunk of air.
3 units 2
big chunk of air.
library classifications. Let's look at the introductory
As
parts.
big as maybe.
Why
Ladies and
do we
gentlemen,
really need
please
this
join me
library
in welcoming
classification?
the 5 nominees
For the
for
effective
Outstanding
use of
Director.
library
Please join me
resources.
in welcoming
pretty big
the 5 nominees for Outstanding
what's,
Director of a Feature Film by the
One way of
Directors Guild.
organizing library resources is by cataloging, which was discussed in Module 3.
Anger with anger is like following a lunatic who jumps off a cliff.
Has uniform
The
conditions.
tangible lacks solidity.
For the
It's
effective
an
use of
illusion,
library
only through meditation
resources,
can we
organization
become
of
familiar
such
with other ways of
resources
being.
is
Tonight,
important for
Tibetan
easy
Buddhism.
retrieval. One way of organizing library resources is by cataloging, which was discussed in Module 3, Unit 1. Another way of organizing library resources is through classification, which we will be looking at. Now, what is classification?
The idea of tropically addition is just that the smallest number. This is introduction to tropical addition, and you can see 0, 0, 1. If you remember back in the
Okay, hi, welcome to the next Tropical Forest Ecology and Use lecture, Changes in Tropical Ecosystems over Geological Time. In
Hi
Uh,
this
there, and
lecture,
welcome
I
to
hopefully give you a
ITCZ
history
Explained.
of...
This is part 2 of 2 clips.
Okay,
The
hi,
first
welcome.
described the movement of
Okay,
the
hi,
ITCZ.
welcome
This
to...
one
Okay, hi, welcome to...
Essentially what you're being asked to do here is to explain why
Tropical Forest Ecology and
rainfall
Use
levels
lecture,
vary
Changes in
as we
Tropical
move north,
Ecosystems
location C at the
over
coastline of West
Geological
Africa,
Time.
inland, past location B, towards location
History
A.
of tropical rainforests,
Okay, so let's get
and
started.
to a lesser extent tropical dry forests and tropical
First of all, we
savannas
have the ITCZ.
as they changed over geological
Now-
time. Your history of tropical rain.
Today starting a new topic is thermohaline.
Our sky is for only for 12 hours, but there is a land in the same globe where we share the same
क्या है?
Polar habitat.
Basically the interactions between
is located there.
And how the ocean affects CO2 and
Parts of the Arctic Ocean are covered by ice.
So we'll be looking at the ocean carbon pumps.
Very cold. It is also dry.
निर्धारित समय पूर्व भारत में प्रवेश कर दक्षिण पश्चिम मौसुमी वायु
A dark cloud crosses the plains of India and unleashes the rains that breathe life into a parched land. The monsoon has arrived, and with it comes joy, relief, and rebirth. Here in the relief and rebirth. Here in the northeastern U.S., we move from one and unleashes the rains that breathe life into a parched land. The monsoon. A dark cloud crosses the plains. A dark cloud crosses the plains of India and unleashes the rains.
On a tropical island.
A dark cloud crosses the plains of India
for 60 days.
and unleashes the rains that breathe life into a parched land.
Largest suppliers of this resource.
Olá, nós estamos aqui na Guiné e pedimos para que você não...
The German equatorial mount was invented by Joseph von Fraunhofer. Equatorial mounts are used in astronomy. Its function is to cancel out Earth's rotation and pointing at celestial objects while carrying a telescope.
Mais uma panorâmica muito alta, uma das zonas altas. É o que se pode dizer aqui floresta chuvosa, densamente verde, luxuriante.
Bolo de 3 metros.
Mais uma panorâmica muito alta, uma das zonas altas. É o que se pode dizer aqui.
Bom, e a Equatorial, em parceria com o Senai, está com inscrições abertas mais de 18 anos. E a gente vai ouvir falar com a Nájila Fernandes, que traz mais detalhes sobre esse assunto, né? Que pode ajudar aí a pessoa a conquistar uma vaga de trabalho. É sempre muito importante.
É isso, Nayara. Bom dia a você, bom dia a todos. Uma ótima oportunidade, viu? São 25 vagas para Teresina, homens e mulheres maiores de 18 anos que possuam o diploma de conclusão do ensino fundamental.
It was also called as United Nations Conference on Environment Development, and that conference, 3 important international conventions were opened for signing for the member countries. This includes UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Welcome friends, in this video, let's discuss about United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that is UNFCCC.
The world's climatic zones begin here.
It was also called as United Member Countries. These include UNFCCC, that is I have covered in my previous videos about these 2 conventions and their respective protocols as well. Please watch the same if you have not watched that. And in this video I'm going to cover UNFCCC. This event I have covered in my previous videos about these 2 conventions and their...
Do you know what global warming is? First, we need to understand
आपनको देखाइबु
Let's talk about, you know what global warming is?
No, देखिबा रिपोर्ट प्रथमे नजर पकांतु IMD देखिबा global.
You can see this line of rain extending from western Scotland through England and Wales all the way down into the Channel Islands. Ahead of it,
in a situation where the weather forecast called for sunny skies, yet it ended up raining all day long. You think, oh, if I only had my umbrella. But you know, guys, the job of predicting weather accurately is a difficult one because our atmosphere, it's constantly changing. You see, it has a train of satellites called the Afternoon Constellation, nicknamed the A Train, which are orbiting the Earth. And they're collecting all sorts.
There's four methods for forecasting weather. While much data is available for use in the prediction and forecasting of weather, that does not mean all of it or any of it is used. But there are such things as climatological forecasts. So with a climatological forecast, you're not...
Okay, in this presentation we're going to look at this. So I'm going to load up my, by the way, I'm using Jupyter Notebooks on Azure.
Of what you can get from your GPS.
This is less confusing, apparently. We're over Maywood right now. Thank you, Sky 2. Looking pretty nice out there.
Welcome to the detailed discussion on
the for our second speaker today, and predictions on David's.
So the big $1 million question is, how will it compare to last year? And I can tell you guys, it's not going to be as cold as last year. Slightly cooler than normal in the temperatures I have here, which means say maybe 1 to maybe 3 degrees below normal. Cold down here because again, I think we're going to have a lot of storminess down here in the south with an active southern jet. So cold down here, average through here. And warm in here, which means say maybe 1 to maybe 3 degrees below normal. Cold down here because again, I think we're going to have a lot of storminess down here in the south with an active southern jet. So cold down here, average through here, and warm in the west.
Some low clouds and fog at the coast, but everywhere else sunny skies, and get ready for a big warm-up headed our way.
Hi, welcome to the Physics 2 tutor. First, let me stop and say that I'm incredibly excited to teach this course because it's been a few years since I've released the Physics 1 tutor. The Physics 1 tutor dealt with all of the Newtonian mechanics. Welcome to the Physics 2 tutor. First, let me stop and say that I'm incredibly excited to teach this course.
Our generations are standing on a precipice, staring into our generations are standing on a precipice.
With the lapse of time and the seasons, days follow a regular pattern in the millennium. Days follow a regular pattern.
Policies can actually improve our agricultural supply potential in the long run. We're going to look at what the problems that exist.
Girdling the earth between.
So, environmental policies try to mitigate or.
Hello everyone, once again welcome to Yogesh Learning YouTube channel.
So before we look
Friends, in this video we will write a short essay on global warming. So let's start the video.
Problems that exist in the environment.
Friends, यदि चैनल पे नए हैं तो प्लीज